Okay, people. The jig is truly up this time. They don't call me Deep Throat for nothing, my friends. Listen, sooner or later, the story's gonna break, okay? What is that story? You may ask yourself. The story is I self-directed my own version of Boyhood Part 2 with a lot of help from all my Hollywood friends, a lot of help with all my academic friends, and a lot of help from all my media friends. Those are the three biggest, most important, and influential industries in this country and the world. Politics is not anywhere near as influential. And I realized this myself after being a lifelong political junkie when I stopped watching the news, right? Because I was sick to death, literally, of all the coverage of death and illness. Never any coverage of solutions, or if there are coverages, excuse me, that's a Hollywood term. If there is coverage, that's also a Hollywood term. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, my first job out of college was at Interview Magazine. A lot of people have no idea what that means. A lot of people have no idea what that means when I say to them what that means, right? But basically, Too Long Didn't Read. Through sheer happenstance, truly, yours truly ended up working as an editorial assistant at Interview Magazine, which was a very, 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 very fancy magazine with a lot of influence. It does not have that cachet anymore, although all due respect to the current editorial team there, it's just that's the point. The times have completely changed. Because once social media happened, once YouTube happened, everybody literally could get their 15 minutes of fame, which is what Interview Magazine's founder, let me slow down, I'm walking so fast. What Interview Magazine's founder, Andy Warhol, the famous artist, prophesied, right? In the future, he said this, I don't know when he said this, in the 1960s probably, most likely. Somebody watching this maybe fact check that for me, because I was also a fact checker at New York Magazine. So I know all the information, right? I know the history of art. I know the history of media. I know the history of education. You may ask yourself, if you know, you know, why do I know this much information? You know, I hate these fucking intersections. People are literally crazy in LA. That's what you get when you prioritize cars over people. Right. I'm gonna have to shift into the street here because there's a mama up there with her pram. I don't want them to think I'm coming up behind them. I'm zigzagging, that's a stand-up comedy term. If I'm not holding your attention, go fuck yourself. Do you know what I mean? That's the attitude you have to have, my friends. That's called cojones. And who has the biggest cojones? Not men, women. Probably trans men in particular. But if you are a trans man, then you decide to go back to just being, trans women. Even for me, it's hard to keep track of this, which is why I think there's a lot of warranted criticism of the transgender movement, but certainly not to the extent that their identity should be denied. Because make no mistake, my friends, keep it moving, keep it moving. These cars have no idea what they're doing, do you see? You gotta direct the cars, right? Make up your mind. Should I get off the pot? Are you going to turn or you're not going to turn? I drove for Uber for 1.5 years, people. I had a 5.0 rating during most of that time. Occasionally it was 4.99. Anyway, keeping it moving. I've been thinking a lot about, what my secret is for living a happy life, for attaining everything that I've ever wanted to attain and more. Curiosity. Simply curiosity. I've always been interested in other people. I've always been interested in learning about other people. I've always been interested in learning about other cultures. I've always been interested in self-growth. I read Carl Rogers' book on becoming a person. I think that's what it's called. I might be paraphrasing. When I took AP Psychology at Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. Okay, people? Anybody can do anything. We can all do whatever we want, except that we do have enormous stratification and segregation, formal and informal. And this run, listen, I'm going to Target. I gotta return this umbrella that I bought when there was an atmospheric river parked over us. I'm fully in control. I want to leave you with this. Of my own reality. But that's because I let go of my reality every single day. That's Zen Buddhism, baby. And my longtime therapist, David, as influential to me as my longtime hairstylist, B, would always say, at least you're not an actor, Sean. When I would cry baby to him, thank you, John Waters, when I would cry baby to him about not getting my freelance writing articles picked up, he's like, at least you're not an actor. Because then you're judged on all sorts of personal attributes, like how you look, right? How clear your skin is, right? How big your body is, right? All these years later, I am an actor. Right? Why? Because of people like David in my life. Who's not only a fantastic, brilliant Gestalt clinician, but also was the clinical director of a little group called Identity House that I belonged to back in. Listen, people, the more you embrace life, the more it gives back. That's the point about letting go. I gotta let go in that note. I'm gonna post some of this, all this, whatever. But this is, I think, what I'm gonna start wearing to the fucking improv. Because I say that to myself, because I'm sick of dealing with my hair situation. Meaning, I don't like to blow dry it because that's bad for your hair. So I just gotta be really fucking patient with it. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. That David Longmire, my therapist of 18 years, if he's still practicing, look him up. I said a lot of my boyfriends there. By boyfriends, I mean friends who are boys as well as an actual boyfriend. Who then stopped going to therapy. I said, okay, good. Because that's the last straw, my friend. You're out. I'm done with you. Because if you're not always changing, this is what Viola Davis says, right? Among other people, but I always think of Viola Davis, right? Life is about continuing to evolve. Black women have said this to me, right? This is what I've learned from black women. Black women, life is about continuing to evolve. And black women know they're not only the most educated people by educational attainment in the United States of America, but they're also the oldest people on the planet, right? Because as I saw every time I went to the University of Witwatersrand archives, their special collections, in the mid-2000s, where all this bullshit was going on here I pass the Origin Center right there in Johannesburg every day, twice a day, right? Because life started, that is, originated in Africa. And if anybody tells you anything other than that, they're not just flat-ass wrong, but they're chumps. Because apparently they can't think for themselves. That's the gift that Black women gave me, the gift of learning how to think for myself. Thank you, Audre Lorde. Or Audre Lorde, however you pronounce it. Doesn't make a difference as long as you remember that the erotic, the sexual, in other words, actually is our mission on this planet. We're supposed to reproduce, but we can't reproduce over and over and over again. We're not meant for that. So what are you supposed to do the rest of the time with the genitals that we've been given and the butts that we've been given? Those of us who've been given genitals and butts, because not everybody has them, people. It's called congenital defects, and that's really where I want to end this. On chance, we are so, and 333, we are so lucky, those of us who are healthy, to be healthy, because it's just a game of fucking chance, and that's called karma, my friends. That's why I practice gratitude, right? I am so fucking grateful for everything I have, because it keeps me wanting more. That's not narcissism. That's called empowerment, baby. Get ready. Things are only gonna get worse. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but things are only gonna get worse. Because while Trump set the stage for the bloodbath in the Holy Land that is reshaping geopolitical relations worldwide currently, Biden let it happen. So that means we have two war criminals legitimately back to back as president of this godforsaken country. And nobody even gives a damn. So Nancy Pelosi, AOC, Bernie Sanders, they can all go suck my long ass dick. And here's the punchline, my friends. I gotta get out of here. I wanna walk through them all. I'm schwitzing ready. Here's the punchline, my friends. A dick is also a clit. It's the same tissue. Not a chew. Hachu? Not a tissue, a tissue. Tissue, the tissue that surrounds our bones and muscles, that's tissue. That's the scientific term, and I know, because this time last year, during the holy month of Ramadan, Passover, and Easter, which all fell during the same period last year. This year it's a double leap year, if you know, you know. I had an open wound in my ball sack, my friends. And you haven't lived until the tissue in your ball sack regenerates. It's like a hand job for days. I really gotta get out of here. Thank God firearms are prohibited in this mall. They're not prohibited in Texas. And yeah, I know Houston and Dallas and Fort Worth and Austin and El Paso and San Antonio and also Juarez. Not to mention Medellin, Bogota, Santa Marta y Cartagena y Sevilla. See? Minorca, Mallorca, right? I'm feeling so good about myself that I might actually paint my nails. I'll tell you the idea, but if you steal it, just like if you steal this look, I will cut you, motherfucker. And everybody knows I will do it. I carry a shiv with me everywhere I go. It's called my voice. And I will cut you like an amethyst crystal, baby. Because I am healed. Hear me roar. Thank you for Helen Reddy. She's not one of the white women that are the problem. Right? Hear me roar. Although I wonder if she were alive today, if she would be a trans exclusionary radical feminist. You know, whether she would perform in apartheid Israel. Oh, and speaking of apartheid Israel, did you guys ever see the movie Pariah? Set in Brooklyn, if I recall. Which I also know inside out. This is how I spent my time in Johannesburg, walking around in malls. Everything is so far away because of apartheid, which began in South Africa the same time it began in Israel. The British, i.e. the English, just like you can follow the money to find truth in this world, you can follow the English language too. Very toss. Very toss. Very toss. Very toss. Very toss. I wonder if this place is hiring. Uniqlo passed on me. Can you believe that? Thank God for H&M. Made a ton of friends there. Love y'all.